Weather has been used on the battlefield with only limited success. But the technology is already here, paving the way for a bleak future once it's perfected. And some historians point to one haunting incident as proof. August 23, 2005. The National Weather Service is tracking an unassuming storm forming over the Bahamas. A storm this size rarely damages buildings or even takes lives. In fact, at this point, it's simply known as Tropical Depression 12. But that will change. It will unexpectedly grow into the mother of all storms, a Category 5 hurricane with winds up to 175 miles per hour. It is named Hurricane Katrina. When Katrina slams into the Gulf Coast states, it will become one of the deadliest disasters in U.S. history, costing $81 billion in property damage and claiming more than 1,800 lives. Like other hurricanes of that year, Katrina showed some very peculiar movements never before seen in a major hurricane.
The 2005 hurricane season, there were some very amazing, strange anomalies. There were some things that should not have happened. One of the things was that many of the hurricane tracks were in almost straight lines, and hurricanes don't go in straight lines.
An ominous theory has surfaced that seems far-fetched.
There are some extremely sinister conspiracy theories circulating about Hurricane Katrina. Some people believe that Katrina hit where it hit with the power that it struck because of Russian or Chinese weather control experiments.
Just before coming on shore, Katrina did an abrupt 90-degree turn, hard left, and went down the beach for a substantial distance before coming on shore. So we have speculations that our enemies had been throwing hurricanes at us. We were being bombarded, attacked with the weather.
So far, there has been no conclusive proof of such a conspiracy. Most attribute Katrina's path to the vagaries of a hurricane, but it does illustrate the potential of such a weapon.
To control and direct a hurricane gives you power at least equivalent to nuclear weapons. A hurricane could be the ultimate weapon of war.
The very next year after Katrina, something strange happened. According to the National Weather Service, not a single hurricane made landfall in 2006. Could the U.S. military be using HAARP to fend off hurricane attacks? An irregular high-pressure zone above the southeastern United States points to this conclusion, according to Jerry Smith.
This high-pressure dome has never existed before. It's never been seen to have a high-pressure dome parked over the southeastern United States for the entirety of a hurricane season. It's never happened before. And it's happened 3 years in a row now. This high-pressure dome worked like the rubber bumpers on a pinball machine, and every hurricane, like a pinball, hit it and bounced off, safely going back out to sea. The date coincidence of HAARP being completed and this buffer being in effect, I think, is very telling.
Meteorologists say the high-pressure area is just a weather anomaly, one of many that occurs in nature. But its intensity puzzles many meteorologists. Is this the same type of manufactured high-pressure system that experts feel hovered over California from 1988 to 1992? Today, nations still deny they are weaponizing weather, but there are suggestions to the contrary. This U.S. Air Force report graphically outlines the military's desire to exploit and manipulate the weather for the purposes of war by the year 2025. According to one of the most harrowing lines in this report, quote, "Weather modification is a force multiplier with tremendous power that could be exploited across the full spectrum of war-fighting environments."
The 2025 report on weather was essentially a military analysis of what could we do, whether it was to create rainfall, create drought conditions. The idea was by 2025 we would be able to manipulate virtually every aspect of weather.
It expressly states how and why the United States Air Force should own the weather. What technologies will be necessary to fight future wars using weather as a weapon.
The rationale for this is really the ultimate war is if you never have to fire a round and nobody ever knew you launched the fight. And this is what weather warfare offers militaries around the world.
With our deadline of 2025 quickly approaching, the future of weather warfare is cause for concern.
The worst case scenario is that satellite-based weapons systems will turn the Earth's weather on its head. It could rain in the desert and you could have a heat wave in the Arctic.
If an enemy could change the jet stream over North America, it could plunge North America into an ice age.
50 years from now, geophysical manipulation of the planet could be the weapon of war, where it's not bombs and bullets, it's earthquakes, it's tidal waves, manipulation of weather systems. Those become the future of warfare.
When we talk about weather warfare, we are talking about a death technology. This has nothing to do with enhancing life. The aim of weather warfare is catastrophic environmental destruction and horrific loss of life.
In the future, he who controls the weather will probably control the earth.